Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's go live here. All right. So, like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education, entertainment purposes only. And, overall, I'll just kind of start with the market update that I see where we are. And I'll tell you that I think the market is trying to find a way to top out here in reverse. It's searching for a news event to really get the sell-off going, and it just yet hasn't found one. And I think until this news event emerges, we're probably just going to chop around top, come back, do maybe a 1, a 2, a 1, a 2. Like it's going to meander around, but then something really bad is about to happen to end a major cycle, perhaps even the grand super cycle, and something that investors have no clue is coming. They're completely blind to, except for maybe a few fringe fundamental investors, or maybe maybe on top of it. So that is where we are right now. So if you look, the Dow Jones, if I look at the count, just kind of modifying the count and the wave 5, a 1, 2, a short 3, 4, 5. This is valid as long as the 5 doesn't exceed this 3, the length of the 3. Here, let's go here and take a look. And as long as we're below 45.7, this is a valid count with the bearish divergence, which we have on the 4-hour here. And let's look at the daily here as well. And again, trading view, there we go. Barely have some barely see that bearish divergence. Now, we erase divergence, then we're looking at some kind of three-wave move or a three-wave move where we topped here, and we'll go back to the original count where it's an A, B, crash wave, C. So I'm just kind of giving you different possibilities, but I think the shorter cycles show that this is the count that I have. And this should be coming to an end right here, this wave at least, or this wave which started in August, or perhaps something even more catastrophic is about back. The October cycle is about to end. A bear market, or the grand super cycle. So that's what's at stake here. We're actually overthrowing a trend line that I have right now. The SPY count, looking for just kind of changing things up as we're making new highs and looking for a 4. So in this 4 wave right now, we could be in a connector in 4 right now today on this kind of Thanksgiving Day bounce. Post Thanksgiving Day bounce, people are happy and they click buy on their Robinhood accounts. This could fail, next week, and we could come back down to 595, 594, assuming where we fail on this connector. And then we actually could make another high if this swing count is right. Of course, I could play with the count and call it finished at any moment. You're picking up pennies in front of a steamroller if you're trying to buy long here, because this, again, the end of a major cycle since perhaps the grand super cycle, but at least October 22, massive bearish divergence on almost every time frame that I can see that I could click on. I mean, it's probably in many years that you'll see bearish divergence on every single time frame. That's a signal of a 5 of a 5 of a 5 type situation. So you have to be really defensive in this situation right now with the market. But a lot of investors, and I've retweeted these articles, are actually max long. They put their whole stack in. They're so happy Trump won. They just want to buy everything, which is actually the worst possible thing to do, given I think Trump is in his best interest to see the market go down before he takes office. Or they're going to play games, let this pump into his presidency, and then when he puts the tariffs on or does his thing, it collapses on him, so they can blame him. I believe bigger games are being played by the big money here. But this target at 610, 612 was a target that I had set all the way back at the beginning of the calendar year. Amazingly, all the way back here. So how did Elliott Wave Sage do that? It wasn't with Elliott Waves, it was with Fibonacci extensions, got this target, and here we are. We're actually about to hit it. Back then, this was crazy talk. I got a lot of hate DMs for being too bullish all of a sudden. And actually, this actually looks like it's going to play out and tag it exactly. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? And this target had nothing to do with Elliott waves, by the way. Nothing to do with Elliott waves. It's just a different way of looking at targets. And so this target it may come true. May come true. And then the IWM is in the target area. To hit the target area, again, I have had this target since God knows back here, and here we are. And if I just looking at the count, looks like could be coming to an end. Now we could still extend in 5 and more of a blow off top in the Russell here, but we'll have to wait and see. You want to see divergence erased on the Russell on this leg, especially on the daily and weekly time frame. And you're not quite seeing that. So I actually think the Russell could go a little higher. I don't think the Russell's finished going higher. I do think the Russell has more upside for a final like short squeeze type event to call the peak. And we've seen that here, right? You saw that right here, and bam. It shows these fractals all the time. You saw it here. It came up, almost made a new high, and then a catastrophe ensued. Here it came up, squeezed, and then a catastrophe ensued. It's going to probably do the same thing, come up, make a new high, and then a catastrophe will ensue again. And that's kind of the pattern we're seeing that the Russell loves to do, these fractals. What's interesting is taking out the new high here, taking this high out, is good and bad. It's good because it shows that this leg is buyable for a massive opportunity for bulls at some point to take you much higher. So small caps will have its day again, a mega pump later, but I think a lot of pain has to come first before we get that situation. And again, this could be an expanded flat. It could truncate. We don't know how this will play out. This could be an A, B, C, an impulse down. It may not be in 3 like I have it. So this is a lot of possibilities here, but I believe the Russell's now in the danger area. The Dow Jones looks like it's in a danger area. The triple Qs may have already peaked. It's struggling for this 5th wave, and it may have already peaked right here. And a break below W, will actually break below 482 would pretty much confirm that top is in. And we'll see some real panic, waterfall selling in technology. That will probably coincide with a rate spike, dramatic inflation, going back higher. And that will probably also kill the Russells, what I'm thinking. But here it is. So, and this is it. Now, if the technology wants to make another high, wave 5 extends, and you have a 1, 2, and it just keeps pushing higher as the market can do that, which Elliott Wave struggles to predict these extensions. But the extension will end unless you get the erasure divergence. But there's no reason to think that's the case at this moment, that will happen. And then that's the market overview. So it would be like if I was day trading, the setup is this reversal that may be happening while we're on the tonight. Like get this 3-wave bounce and see it reverse for another leg lower. That would be a nice thing to see. But then it could bounce, and then you could go long again at 595 with tight stops. I'd probably put my stop here at 5, like right at that low. So very tight stops. And if you're going to try to play that long bounce, if it drops here, and now it is in the short area right now. If it's going to get a reversal, this is where it will reverse. Right here in this area is where you'll want to see that for the push the next leg lower. Here, and a lot of clues. Let's look at the VIX. Again, VIX has a lot of bullish divergences here. Between here, let's take a look. Go to the 45-minute. Here, if I had this done right, if I was looking at this right here, so even if the VIX could break this low, have bullish divergence, needs a 4-hour reset. The VIX needs this 4-hour reset. So we're going to get a sell-off. Even if we're going to make new highs, the sell-off is coming across the market. The other thing predicting the sell-off could happen at any moment that could be dramatic is the Japanese yen has turned lower here, or strengthened. We saw what happened here at this peak. This marked the top in July, and then eventually the catastrophe in August, the flash crash in August. I expect the same thing, but since this is the third leg, see, this is the third leg within this leg. This would be the third leg within this leg. It will be even more dramatic, more terrifying, the drop, than it was on here when this plays out. This is a major warning sign right now for long positions. The Japanese yen has already turned, strengthened. Market people, smart money, are getting defensive, and a lot of you don't even realize it yet. That's what this is telling me. We have a 1 and a 2, and we're probably in either an end of a 3 here. Here, a 4, 5. We put that could make the market make a new high, and then bam, it gets hit hard. Or it's in a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, and it's about to have a free fall, and we could go down hard any moment. But this dynamic here, if this plays out, the market will succumb to this force. Right now, it hasn't. Right here, it wasn't either. It took a little bit of time for the market to realize what was going on, and then when it did, catastrophe. Same thing will happen here. So I would say you really want to be defensive as long as you're below here. You really got to understand that there's a danger. Market is dangerous right here. The bonds also need to retrace this 2-wave. This could also be risk off, the classic risk off. Bonds get a bid, risk off. Maybe we back test this breakout right here, and we get some risk off here, and then we're pulling back as long as we're above 358. Now, if we lose 358 on bonds, then rates are going to go a lot lower. Here, this 2-wave will continue lower, and we'll have a connector, and that could get rates to a new target area that we could see here at 3%. So that's also a possibility. But unfortunately, at some point, rates are going to take a massive move higher. So this will play out. But we have ended this cycle. This cycle's over, and we are in a new uptrend until this low breaks at 359. And so can that happen here? I wouldn't be surprised, but at some point this too is going to end. If it's a flat, it probably has more downside. All right, so there we go. That's how I look at this market right now, topping out. Dangerous in terms of where it what can happen when we do peak. We don't know how this will play out, but a lot of traders, I would say, are complacent. Investors are complacent. Fundamental investor euphoria, Trump euphoria. There's so many people long with all their money in the market, 90%, 100% invested. And if for some reason, God forbid, we have a 1987 style day, most of those stocks will be down 40 or 50%. Indices, of course, down 20%, circuit breaker. And so if you understand the risk you're taking, I just want to make sure people are aware you are taking a substantial risk right now. If you don't have hedges or you don't have a way to defend your portfolio against a flash crash 1987 circuit breaker moment, and if you think it won't happen, it can happen. The cycles all point to it, the bearish divergences, everything I've retweeted on multiple systems. We have cycle timing indicators that have nothing to do with Elliott waves also predicting this peak. You've got all these forces coming together right here, right now, and you have a massive red wave of change coming in January with executive orders that no one really knows the domino effect that's going to have. With the stroke of a pen, what could happen? And perhaps the Supreme Court allows all those things to happen. And then you have government agencies just kind of shut down overnight. GDP collapses as government spending collapses overnight with the stroke of a pen. federal workers walking home with boxes, just like Lehman had to walk home with boxes. You know, what a Christmas present they're about to get. That's what I think could happen in January and February, guys. And the investors are oblivious. They think he's bluffing and all that. I don't think so. It's a different Trump out there. He's making changes. I believe there'll be a lot of change, a lot of commotion at first, and resistance, and that's going to create volatility. All right, I'll go into your questions real quick and then wrap it up. It's a short holiday. You know, for me, I just wanted to get a quick market update out there, and we'll go from there. So I'll go to Space Silver and go into your questions. I'll go to Tesla first. So Tesla did break that high. That's really good for Tesla shareholders, as we broke the high, negating the bearish pattern. So now that we negated this bearish pattern, what are we in now? Well, now we have a 5-wave move up off this low, right? So what happens after 5 waves, right? The market has to go down. So the market still is at, you know, so Tesla's still at risk of a sell-off here. Now, I look at this as 3 waves. So I'm saying we're moving in 3 off these lows. So I bet we have one more high in 5 and then a dramatic pullback as the impulse is over. So I think that's what we have here. I think we're going to move in 3. So I look for another high in Tesla here. And as long as you keep that bearish divergence on pretty much all, you want to see bearish divergence on all the time frames again, which you'll probably get. Then you know the peak is in, the 5 is in, and you should get a pullback down to the wave 4 low, about the 300. This will become, this resistance is now support right here, this line, and we should bounce somewhere in this area for a massive move higher in the future at some point in the future. But again, this could consolidate, and it actually could break this low. It doesn't have to. This is just what I think is typical you'll see. But that's how I look at it. I look at it as a 1-2, 1-2 pattern setup. That's how I look at this, as a 1, 2, and then you have, let me put the 1 here. We have a 1, 2, and then another 1 about to finish, and then come down, and then come out. So this is, to me, this is negated. I think it's negated now, because the only other way to get a bearish pattern on the higher time frames is you have 3. You would have to have 3. You would need to finish a 5-wave move now. So you would have to have this become a 1, 2. This come up, become a 3, a 4, and a 5. It would have to go to all-time highs, and I just don't see it. So I'm still going to stick with this count for now, and then we're coming off in 3 waves and turning up. But then a dramatic sell-off should be happening with consolidation in the future here, but that's buyable, and that'll be buyable. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's Tesla. So like I said, I think it's higher right now to finish this 3-wave move here, to finish 5 as we're moving in 3s. Sets of 3s is what I'm seeing. Next target area is 400, and then a major peak as it finishes the whole impulse. Let me just kind of look at this, and again, I'm looking at it moving in 3s for right now, not in 5s off the low. So like a leading diagonal off the low here. That's what I'm looking at. Because 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's moving in 3s. 1, 2, 3. So it's still not impulse, and it's telling me it's still a lot of bears in the stock. It's still a very bearish like look, but the bulls are obviously in control, but but it's very reactive. That's typical of a wave 1 leading diagonal, and then that should drop it. And we should drop it somewhere into this area, somewhere off of this pullback. We'll get rid of some of these boxes that are not relevant at this point. And again, if you've traded Tesla, we had to buy here, we had to buy here, we had to buy here, and we had to buy here. So it's not like we haven't traded it right. I mean, we've traded Tesla pretty right. We've never shorted Tesla. We've always looked for buying opportunities and taken them when they have arrived. When they've arrived, we could take them and trade them. And a lot of good money has been made on Tesla this year, trading it for me. But now I want a piece of this wave too for the bigger cycle later in 25. There's obviously a big sell-off coming in 25, right? The October 22 cycle is going to pull back. It's going to pull everything back in the market. The question is it a crash, the grand super cycle over, or is it pull back for wave 5 blow off top? And stocks like Tesla tell you it's the latter because, like I said here, like the SPY, right? We're going to correct this wave 5, right? We're going to correct the October cycle here at any moment, this cycle. But there's no telling. This 5 can keep extending. We could pull all the way back down to 482. It will feel like a crash, and then just come out of this and go even higher before you get the ultimate, you know, the COVID lows type wipeout. So we don't know, but stock like Tesla tells you that we will pull back, but Tesla needs to go higher on the grand super cycle now, I think. So do you really think the indices could crash and Tesla's going to go to 500-600 in the next 3 years? Probably not. So Tesla also tells you that you have maybe a 1. Yeah, this cycle is about to end. You get a big pullback to 480, and then you keep going. And wave 5 keeps pushing. And that's where I think you want to be. Now, this will feel like a crash, like technology. Again, this wave 5 could keep pushing higher, but you get this big pullback. Maybe technology comes all the way back down to 360 even, or down to just 400. Or maybe it goes straight down. It feels like a crash, or it's a flash crash, like literally a 1987 style. And we're just down here. We open up one morning down here. Bam. And the correction's over before we realize it. 1, 2. It could be buyable. Not the start of something. It could be the end of something. As 5 keeps pushing. To get the divergences even more severe. For a bigger problem later in Trump's presidency, maybe as he leaves the office. It's just something to think about. Big picture. All right, and then let's go to your next question, NIBE. 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 All right. So it's in our buy area. It's chopping around. It wants to reverse so bad. Again, we have 3. Well, then we came up. So there's your third. You really want to see it hold 44.27. You really want it to hold 44.27. And because then you may lose 40. If you lose 40, then you have a connector for this entire move. And then it's some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 relief rally. And then it's game over. So I still think the setup is sound here as long as you're above. I would say probably above 40. And you just have to be patient and let this reversal play out. All right, Alex, Dogecoin. You know, always you need to kind of understand where Bitcoin is trading to understand, like, you know, bigger picture in crypto. So Bitcoin is trading in a 4 here, and we have this 5. I was trying to play around with these labels on TradingView. I guess there is a way to change the cycle degree. Maybe one day I'll update my chart, makes it a little bit easier to read, maybe. But anyway, I was just playing around. But anyway, I think we have one more push higher. Makes sense with Tesla making one more push higher. And then we should peak on this cycle with we'll have massive bearish divergence across the board at that point. I'll be looking for that. And then when this cycle's done, this whole cycle's over, we'll either get a pullback down to somewhere around 84,000, and then it's going to go vertical. Or it's a fake out. It's going to come all the way back down to 44,000, and this is a fifth wave. And we talked about this. So this is the $1 million question in Bitcoin. Do you have a 1? Is this like, so right now I have it as a 1 2 1 2 out. That's what I have. Now, some people don't have that. Some people out there, they don't have this count. They have something a little different. They have something like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, like this. And it's sound because you have bearish divergence on this leg, and this leg. So it's sound. If this is the case, this will come all the way back down to this trend line here, 40, maybe not 42, but 46, somewhere down this area, this cluster, as this whole cycle ends. 1, 2. And this would be a false breakout of this pattern, a false breakout, panic, 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 and then we come out later. So we don't know, and so if it's this, Dogecoin's gonna get annihilated. All the coins are gonna get annihilated if it's this, if it's that. If it's the other thing that I have, the pullback will be shallow, in probably the last opportunity for you to go long, to get the easy money, the last chance. Unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball to predict where this, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't have a crystal ball, but all we can do is just react to the to the pitch that's thrown at us. React to the pitch, and once we react to the pitch, then we know where we are with things. So so this is where we are. This is my count, right? This is my count right here. This is my count. All right? That's my count. So that's my count. And that's my count. So pullback should be coming, and then it should be viable for continued upside. All right. Dogecoin, let's go to it now and take a look at it specifically and see how it's doing. All right, so we had it here. So just like Bitcoin, it's probably in this 4. Now, is the 4 done? It could be. It could take another leg lower. So there is a buy opportunity if it wants to take a dip lower, just like in Bitcoin. So there's some buy setups here. There's a buy setup right here on this peak at 31 cents. If that's the 4, that could easily do a double correction because it's a higher degree. So that's a buy setup on 4 here for this fifth wave push. But if Bitcoin makes a new high, then that 4 is probably already in and making a final push higher before, again, a pullback. And then on the higher cycle, I have it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at the wave 3. You see this wave 3 never took out this wave 1, so chances are it's not this count. Chances are it's another 1, 2 here. Chances are that this is not a 3. Not a 3 there. I'll just kind of show you where I think we could be. We could be in a 1, 2 here and come out like that. So maybe Bitcoin makes a new high, Dogecoin doesn't, and then you get this too. I think looking at it now here, I would do something like this, and I would label it something like this. And of course, I'll have to fool around with my cycle degree later, but I'll go with this for now because I could put the 3 there, the 4 and the 5, and then it corrects this whole move. If that happens, then Bitcoin is dropping to 45, 50,000. So if Bitcoin wants to do the 50,000 drop, the wave 5 peak, then this is it. It's a 3, 4, 5. We correct this whole thing, and it could go all the way back down 20 cents, 15 cents. If Bitcoin doesn't do that, and Bitcoin's in a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, then it's this. It's something like this right now. And right now we're in a connector wave, and Dogecoin just chopping around. And it'll just chop around. Maybe Bitcoin makes a new high. Bitcoin peaks. Bitcoin pulls back to 84, 85,000. This pulls back to 30,000. and then they're all synced up, ready to roll again for wave 3, something like that. So that's kind of the idea right now. That's what I'm thinking right now. But there's not. That's a trade setup if it's going to dip down here. A trade setup, but you know, there's really nothing else. Like I wouldn't do anything today, but be on the sidelines and just kind of not trade it today. All right. Next one is EVO. Is the low in? How far is it? Can you expect it to go? Let's take a look at it. So as we broke the low, we lose the 1-2-1-2 setup, but that's okay. It just changes to the double correction here, and actually this will be this makes it a little bit easier to target a buy area here. I'll get rid of this here. So if we look, so we're looking for 852.8. So I don't think the low's in. I think we're going to retest this low, try to double bottom here. So that's what I'd be looking for, more downside, and then it needs to hold this low, or it risks a bigger correction in wave 2. And I'll give and if that low breaks, then the next target area is here. $541, this area. So it has to hold this low on this pullback to keep the 1-2-1-2 setup alive. If it doesn't, then it's looking for a massive double correction down to 540. But as you can see, it's still in its downtrend, well within its downtrend. It's still a very risky, but here it's low risk, high reward. But if it breaks this low, I would leave this as a long position for sure. The order size may give us a clue on where it is. Not on the weekly. We'll have to go to the monthly. So see the monthly still pushing lower. There is a good chance this monthly will come oversold, so it is gaining momentum to the downside. So you need to be aware of it, that this may not happen the way I have it here. There is a setup, but there's also a more bearish setup that gets you to lower targets. And it would be a W, X, Y, and an A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'd be slightly different. It would actually, I'd raise the target just a little bit to 617 in that pattern. So just changing the target up a little bit. So this is my primary view, but then there is an alternative view that puts the 2 there. And it's a bigger pattern. It comes down like this. This is equally as valid. And the RSI is telling me that we need to be a little more defensive. Where you have this, where the C is an impulse. That's why it's such a trap, right? These expanded flats, and then you come down in 3. And you're in a 1-2, you're about to have a 3 of 3 of C. So just this is equally as valid, but whatever happens here or here, the future is very bright. So if you're a long-term investor, you really have to just ignore this price action and either dollar cost average into this, ignore it, or try to time a buy here and then time more buys here and accumulate it if you're a believer in it. But from a trading standpoint, there's really no trade in this at this moment. This is the more bearish view, and the way we're seeing momentum accelerate to the downside on the monthly time frame, this could easily happen. So just be careful trading it on the long side. But if you have stop losses, you shouldn't worry, and that's why you have to have a stop loss. But at some point, this will end, and it'll go much higher in the future. Because this looks clearly 5 up to me. So we should get another leg higher in the future. All right, next question, BTU. Yeah, I had my eye on BTU as well. I don't like any commodities until oil bottoms. I'm really being disciplined as a trader in terms of what positions to take. Unless they're day trades, of course, there's a lot of day trade opportunities or swing, a couple days, stay in a position and leave it. But like one of the things you need to understand is oil, is the oil market, the king of all commodities. Okay, the oil market is showing something. Again, this actually is down in 5 here, so let's fix that. So the oil market is showing something that lines up with the yen strength, which lines up with the top of the market, which is all lining up. Everything's lining up perfectly for a massive move lower. Oil is about to give up the ghost here, guys. I think, look at this. I mean, they're trying to save it so... look at it. If you just look at this chart, what's happened in this price action, you have a massive top in process here, right? With a some kind of neckline, slanted neckline. You break the neckline, you come in, reject it. You come in, reject it, reject it, reject it, reject it. It's so tight. It's gonna have I think a huge move lower soon. And every time oil has a huge move lower, the markets have a tragedy, a catastrophe, typically of some kind. So my guess is when this happens, all the commodities are going to get hit hard, all of them. But when this finds the long-term buy area here, the long-term buy area in this area right here, then all the commodities are great long opportunities for a massive move higher in the future, going all the way up. Oil eventually seeing prices in over the $200 a barrel range, which I know is unthinkable to people, and people will unfollow me because I just said that. Just because I said those two lords, oil will be over. It's because it makes their mind blow up in their head because they don't understand how something like that can happen. But the chart is telling you guys that is going to happen. That is going to happen. That's going to happen. And when that happens, I bet all commodities, everything will be a free for all to the upside, a free for all to the upside. And I want to, so that's where BTU will probably really do well with all the other commodities. But I believe if this is going to play out, now if this is going to play out just like we have here, I believe BTU and these other commodities are all going to get hit. So with that being said, we can go look at BTU and see how it's doing. I don't think my chart's updated on it, so you're going to have to ignore what you see when I first bring it up. But anyway, let's take a look if I can find it here. It's somewhere around here. There it is. Okay. So BTU, again, we have to ignore it. So just looking at it, bigger picture. So there was this bullish view, right? You have this bullish view, but I think if you take a step back and look at this picture completely, you had a false breakout right here that just got rejected, by the way. If you look, you have 3 down, 3 up, 3 down, big W, okay? And then 3 up. Why? My guess is this. Again, I'm looking at the bigger picture. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Something like that. And so I'll give the buy area setup. And the idea is when BTU tags is $14.12, which again, there's your wave 4 cluster. That's where you want it, right? Wave 4 cluster. Oil should be at its low. $50, somewhere down there, maybe lower. That's a pretty big dramatic move down. Right? So that's why I look. Now, when oil has confirmation of a reversal bottom turn, when we know it's over, that pattern reverses, then then I think you could be more aggressive on all the commodities and go for a more bullish interpretation like I originally had. But I'm still going this direction. And yeah, this will be an incredible opportunity. And it also shows, coal is where it's at. But I think all commodities is where it's at. All anything that's assets are where it's at. Where stuff people want to the future in the next 5 years for long-term investors is probably going to be asset or like commodity type things you can hold, tangible things. Things that gold, silver, things that you can buy and hold, that type of thing. Not paper wealth or stocks with no earnings, shit like that. That low high multiple, low PE, no PE. That shit isn't gonna work in the future. This cycle. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, so there we go. That's it. That's the way it looks. That's the way it looks from BTU. All right, next is Roche XLV, and thanks for the big super chat, man. Healthcare has been getting hit because they got the Kennedy appointment that they're trying to get through, and people are scared of that and what he's going to do. So Roche, you may have been the one that asked me, but it looks like we nailed that short right here, right? Look, and we've reversed off of that low, going to levels that seem unthinkable, but I would just let this chart play out until it doesn't work anymore. Until it doesn't work. So I would say you stay bearish, you stay short under 287, under here, and you just kind of short these bounces as they come, and just keep playing it to the downside as this cycle needs to finish out. This too has to finish here. We need 5 waves down. So that's what I'd look for. I look for something like this. Now, if we take out 286, then the C is going to extend in a connector. This connector will fail at some point, but then I would want to not be on the short side anymore. And with this break, like this bottom, I actually wouldn't even trade it anymore. But it would bring in more upside, and then you could see a very large connector later. You could do something like A, B, C, something like that. But I do believe C has to happen. Could it be happening now? It's possible. We don't know. But I would just kind of continue to do this because it seems to be working out so far, as long as you're below that. And then XLV, XLV was getting hit. Yeah, XLV is another sector that's just having a tough go at it. But I wonder if it was trying to recover. It was trying to recover a little bit. It was trying. Let's see here. I thought I had XLV on here. Oh, there it is. All right, so we did call the peak at wave 1, right? We got that. So we're in this wave 2. So the problem I've got with XLV is this is showing a very bullish setup, right? I labeled this without any bias or judgment here. Just labeled what I saw. This is a very shallow grand supercycle correction. I mean, almost way too shallow. But this is 5 up, right? Now, you see, perhaps I could force a 3-wave up. Could this be a 3-wave up move? Maybe I could force it. See, it extended a little too far, even for that situation. You have bearish divergence, so I can't call it I'm not going to call it a 5-wave move up, a 3-wave move up. Grand supercycle, if we look at it, if we could get this pulled up, this sector, massive peak here, the 3 of 3, right? Divergence, now you took it out here, and then you have this bearish divergence here. Clearly, you reset the cycle. The 09 cycle was reset with this pullback right here. The 09 cycle was reset, and if I'm looking at this, we'll go to the quarterly view. The quarterly view shows some bearish divergence here. It shows a 3 and a 4. Yeah, maybe what we could do is we won't be so bullish on it, but we'll say we're going to say we're an extended fifth. We're still in 5, but it's in a 1-2-1-2 setup off of 5. I think that's the right way to label it for right now. Just looking at the quarterly look. One, two, three, four, five. So it's moving in 5 waves. And you have overlap here. You have too much. Yeah, so I think healthcare is bullish. It's a bullish sector, guys. It's it's one of the ones that may have more to go here. Maybe it's a defensive sector people will flock to for as the indices sell off mistakenly, and then it eventually ends. But the sector looks okay. Now this wave 2. I mean, this wave 2 could end. It could end right here. Even it could end right here. But if it double corrects, this could be a long opportunity sector to hedge your shorts, right? Like I always say, be long some things, short some things. So if it wants to correct down to 128, you could buy it against 118. Buy that sector right here. If it's going to do that double correction off of this connector, if it reverses here. Now, this looks like 5 down, right? Off of that low. Let's look for divergence and see what happened here. No divergence. So 1, 2, 3. So it's just a shallow connector. So it truncated, which leads it to that we'll get another leg lower. So more than likely, we have another leg lower coming at some point to finish this up. Something like that. That's more than likely what's going to happen. And then off of the low, we have 4 waves. Now we have 3. Let's look at the wave 3 of 3. Yeah, the shorter cycle broke that low. So yeah, this cycle's over. So it's back. Yeah, I was just kind of thinking about, labeling it a little different. But I think the best way to do this, again, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the right target would be right around 134. So maybe a little more upside in the connector is coming, and then another leg lower. But I would say this sector, you would want to be careful that it doesn't erase divergence as this 5th wave pushes out. So what does that tell you? Like what leads the XLV sector? What stop? Well, that's Eli Lilly, right? Eli Lilly is that sector. If that's Pfizer, so those are the stocks, Johnson and Johnson, right? So those are the stocks that make this up. And they're way oversold. Pfizer's way oversold on super cycle. J&J is too. So they have plenty of room to go higher. The big ones, right? Moderna's actually, Moderna used to be a big player in the XLV. And Moderna, I think I was looking at it the other day. Moderna is in our first buy area. It just went straight to the B line. Now, I think from a swing standpoint, it needs a bounce and another low. But I could be off. It could be already done. If Moderna is done, wave 2, right here, then of course the sector could go way much higher. So just saying, so I'm just showing you, where we are. So there's a lot of big pharma stocks that aren't here. They're way down here. Right, yeah, maybe Lilly's the exception, right? But even Lilly's way off its high, which eventually should see 640 for new highs. So the XLV, looking at it, is probably one that is going to be okay in the future. At least in the initial part of whatever is going to happen in the indices. And it makes sense, right? Because people will go to the defensive sectors. And then maybe it won't get hit as hard as people are worried about right now. Under Kennedy, maybe Kennedy won't be appointed, right? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they'll spend a lot of money in healthcare. More, I don't know. It just seems like to me, I'm looking at the market. How's Amgen was a big sell-off. Amgen flash, big sell-off. Almost hit the buy area at 249. Again, Amgen shows a very bullish pattern, a 1-2, 1-2. Kind of back tested in this breakout right here. It held. So healthcare looks healthy to me. It's healthy, right? Healthcare is healthy. It's a healthy sector. That's the way I see it right now. How about AbbVie? I know that had a big sell-off too, and I don't have it labeled, so we'll have to go back. All right, let's go to some of your other questions, guys. Snow is so I still, as long as it's below 237, this is just a counter trend move, even though, and just to trap more buyers. So you see how we had 5, and it just did a ABC. So we didn't get the extension to finish the correction. So it's just trapping more buyers in this corrective move, and it will end when C ends, right? When the impulse is over. When the impulse is over, then you should be okay to end the cycle. So we'll put 1 there. That we're still in 3. Something like that. That looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that should do it. Let's look at the bigger picture from an RSI standpoint. Because the bigger picture, you have 3 waves down here. And you have 1, 2, 3. Could this be a bigger connector for an A? An A, B, C, as it just chops around even on a higher time frame. And you see that break right there? That's what I'd be thinking. So actually, I think this cycle is going to be a lot more dangerous for traders, for traders and investors. It is a very ugly chart. It's a very ugly chart. Looking at the big picture now, it's morphed into something very, very different. Yeah, we'll have to end wave 5 here. We have to take this peak out on the weekly. Now, see, the monthly is telling you, the monthly is saying that yeah, I think if you step back and look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this could easily come back up to 272, 278. So yeah, I would say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you see it even broke this low right here. Yeah, I just I'm trying to talk myself into calling it a low, but I really can't. I just can't do it. I have to say that this is now a connector and it's really 3 down from this peak. So it's moving in a bearish pattern. And then this X wave, we're in this kind of X wave now. So I would be looking for more upside and then a rug pull, kind of like you had here. So more than likely this will get taken out. So I'd be looking for more upside. At the very least up to 266, $280, somewhere around there into this area. And then it has danger to complete this pattern and continue its final leg lower. All right, good luck with that. I don't like trading it. I just would rather ignore this. But, you know, if you're an investor, you could buy it and maybe you get lucky and it was a low and it just keeps going higher. But you're obviously the down this whole downtrend is over on the monthly time frame. This downtrend is over. So I do expect it to take out this high at 236 at some point soon. Okay. Fubo is a go to zero. Well, it depends on if it broke its pivots or not, what happens with it. So we can go look. Again, I haven't paid attention to it. I was stopped out of that a long time ago. But here's our chart. So we have 5 up, A, B, C. We had the buy area. We're looking for this 5th wave push, right? We haven't got it yet. Haven't got it yet. If we could take out 220, it's not a go to zero anymore. It's not go to zero anymore. But right now, the market hasn't made up its mind. So it's stuck. It's stuck. It's stuck. And this could be a triangle wave for, you know, 3, 3, 3. So I would say if Fubo can make this 5th wave, it should be okay. It should be okay. In a 1, 2, 1, 2 out. If it can't, then yeah, it could become a go to zero if it takes out this this low here, 111, which would ultimately take out this low. And then essentially it's a go to zero, a collapse, and then it will reverse split and do all that stuff. I still think the wave 5 is in play. Wave 5s tend to have a pretty big spike too when it happens, so make it something like that, hopefully. But it could just keep going, right? We don't know. So good luck with that. But right now, I don't think it is at this moment. CEG, let's go to CEG real quick. Constellation Energy. Let's take a look here. So we have to call it truncated here. So we have to call it truncated. So we didn't get a double correction. It tried to do it right here and it failed. And you would have been stopped out of that short here. So you have to put the 4 here. And then we're in this 5th wave. But that whole cycle, this whole cycle's over. It's only in 3. This is only in 3. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so that's what it is. It just morphed into something a lot more complicated for now. And if you look, you have 5 down here, right? So that's what I'm thinking. It'll probably bounce here. That's what I'm thinking right now. It'll be something if that happens because we would have caught it. The connector just decided to route the shorts on this impulse connector. But I'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. As long as it's below 289, I would be looking for more downside. Now, if 289 comes out, then you go back to this was 4, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the whole thing could be over at any moment. So I'll kind of leave it there for now. Yeah, you still have the bearish divergence here. Oh, look at that divergence. Yeah, I mean, I think it's 50-50 whether this happens or it's this and it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. We get one more little high and then it's all the way back down. But either way, I think it's a dangerous to chase this wave 5 here or this C leg of wave 4. Good luck with that. All right, EVO TV. Let's look at that. EVO Tech. So yeah, it looks like the low's in to me with a big rebound like that. So to me, that low's in. This cycle's over. So yeah, so I would say it's bullish above 280. I would just keep trading it on the long side while you're above 280, and then you'll have to, if you lose 280, then it could be a pretty dramatic sell-off, right? Something like this. But we could still be in 2. As long as you're above 282, you're coming off the low. I think it's more sustainable. Again, we could always check the long-term RSIs. You could see the weekly cycle is broke higher. The monthly cycle is turning up for the first time in many years. Finally, breaking this downtrend. So yeah, something pretty significant must have happened with the company to change its fortune recently. Some news. What is it? So it's a pharmaceutical company. I don't know if they got a new approval. They got a new, clinical going or something. But something underneath the hood has gotten people to change their tune about it. Yeah, maybe you post in the comments the fundamental news driving this, because I'm always interested on drug companies, especially when they reverse like this. Okay, MOS. Oh, Mosaic. Yeah, Mosaic. It's kind of getting hit with the commodities. So again, we just have to trade the chart, not trade the news. This could be a couple things. It could be a 1, 2. It could be also a 1, 2 of a leading diagonal coming out. If you look, it looks like 5 waves down. So I'm going to go with this as the count for now. It's trying to come back out of this wedge. As long as it's above 24.11, the bulls are taking control, and we'll just kind of let this play out. If we lose that, then of course it is extending. It's extending, and you probably have corrected. Let's take a look at the higher time frame. It'd be pretty catastrophic for the stock because you would have corrected this whole leg with this little feeble bounce, and you would have broke the low. I wouldn't want to trade it anymore. I really have I would have a hard stop at 24, and I would have to walk away from it. But until that breaks, you just let the chart play out. Let the chart play out. All right, RGTI, Rigotti Computing. All right, nice little bottom end process going on here. 1, 2, 3 connector, 1, 2, 3, a nice three-wave move down, and now you're coming off the low. In 5, and it looks like, so more than likely you'll take out 343, but then after that it's anyone's guess. So you're coming off the low, probably in this ABC pattern, but then after that it's anyone's guess where you go from there, because it could keep pushing higher. It could end that three-wave move and take a whole new sequence lower. But I believe until that's broken, you could try to play the long side of this. Probably something like this. Looks like it's in a 1-2-1-2 setup. So again, if you're a penny stock day trader type, this is one you just kind of play on. You buy your lottery ticket on the long side at 281, and maybe you get this 3 of 3 one day. Everybody's pumping it on social media, and then you dump that shit. You just dump it and walk away. And you have your stop, down here. It'd have to be at 213, but that's the game here on this. But I think it's got more upside. I believe this high will get taken out. It probably ends somewhere around $4. But if you're really lucky, it could go even much higher than that. It could go even back up to 650. I mean, we don't know, but I believe you have more upside. All right, Anonymous, thanks again for the big super chats. All your crypto, I'll go into it. Crypto, like I mentioned, is topping out of a major cycle. Could be the cycle since the lows at 15,000, but it also may not be. So it's still not clear, and there's really no good way of gauging it. So really, you have to have the bigger picture in mind with crypto, and understand that trading it here isn't advised. It's better to just buy and hold it at this point, because if you trade out here, you can miss this big move coming, and if you try to sell it, you could be blown up on the short side. Also, if you try to wait and time your purchase, you may never get these levels, or if you put your whole stack in, you could end up losing a lot of money and panic selling when eventually you come out. So again, like I mentioned, we're either in this 1-2-1-2 setup, or we're in something like a 1-2-3-4-5, and you get a much bigger pullback. So we don't know. We just don't know. But all you can do is guess, and look at the charts individually. Indo, I'll go into Indo again. As long as oil is going to be under pressure, Indo should still see more downside before it sees its day in the sunshine again. It was a bear market darling in the 22 bear market. I believe it pumped up pretty big. So again, looking for this wave 5 here, this pullback, and we want to see it hold this low at $2.06 as this plays out. Of course, if we break this high, it will negate it, and then you have to go with a more bullish 1-2 setup, and then you could get much more. I would be more aggressive buying it, and it may, again, could trade outside the commodity, but for right now, this is what I'm seeing in Indo. All right, TSLQ. Well, Tesla did break that high. I mean, the chart I'm looking at broke here, this high, and by doing that has opened up more upside to 400 before you get a much bigger pullback. So TSLQ should, do the reverse of that, right? And so TSLQ should make another low, and then it should find a swing, a bit tradable. You could buy it. Maybe at 32 is an area, or 37. So it's gonna be tough to time it, but maybe when Tesla's trading 400. But as you can see, it broke that peak, so the TSLQ should go lower. But you get bullish divergence, Here you have that capitulation move, right? In 3. So what it tells, again, bigger picture on TSLQ, looks like 5 down here, 3 up, 3 down. Here, this was a big connector wave. Let's take a look. Well, actually, we'll have to go in 3 off the low. Something like a W. X. Why? What is that? Is that like? Yeah. See, it goes away. Look. So that doesn't exist. That's a trade-in view glitch. So it's something like this, and then you'll get that bounce. It's well overdue. So it's well overdue for a pretty significant bounce. Like I said, I don't think that's valid. I doubt it. I doubt that's a valid wick. So I'm going to ignore it. It's due for a pretty substantial bounce, but look, it's due for a bounce to correct this whole move here, too. Ignoring this. So again, Tesla, bigger picture. Again, we go back to Tesla. Tesla has one more high, and then it does have a pretty big pullback in 2 coming. And theoretically, it could retrace the whole thing. It could double bottom. It could come all the way back down to 162 even. We don't know. I'm just giving you like where it should find support at 300. Hell, it could become a 1-2-1-2 and drop all the way back down to 170. We don't know, but that's where the TSLQ will have its time in the sunshine here, right here. But I don't think it's quite the right time to buy it yet. But this somewhere around here would be with the right bearish divergences in place. Would be right in there on Tesla. Good luck with that. All right, and then let's go through the crypto stocks and see where we are with everything. HUT is pushing up in the Y leg like we expected. It could end at any moment, which would end this whole move, which would be a dramatic pullback when that happens. But we want to take that divergence out, so it's still pushing higher, So Y still has more upside. It's not in danger. I don't think it's in danger of the big dramatic pullback just yet. It should be moving in 3. So the first leg should be ending soon here. Pull back, more upside is what I'm thinking. LTCN. So we came down here in the 3. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for B. So is it done? So it looks like it's done a little too soon for me. I would be still looking for more downside here, and this is just another connector for that move. So I'd be looking for more downside here, something like this. So I'd be looking at more downside. All right, and BCHG. Still in the buy area. It's coming out, right? The buyers are taking control. I would just be patient and I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would just allow this to play out, allow this cycle to try to reverse and watch the trend line. Of course, we see this time and time again. Break of that trend line should confirm the reversal. Now, the longer we stay above that, then we're forming a new connector, as you could already see. So we need this low to hold, or it could get really ugly. So I would just I would still stay with this trade on the long side for now, but understand I would probably have a tight stop loss on it. Let's look at the 4-hour. Yeah, right now the stop loss area is right here. It's at 516. So it's still not. It still could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we just anyway. I just leave it like this. I think you just kind of got to. I would just stick with it for now. MicroStrategy is kind of behaving the way we expect, but we have our eye on the prize, which is down in this area. I mentioned that it could chop around for months and then puke down at some point later as the day traders, lose all their money to each other. Clearly, this three-wave move is over here. So we're probably in a new connector wave of X, but I'll be waiting for Y to come. Now that we have this connector wave, we have a different target. So this messed up our target. So let's just assume X ends today. So now the target's lower, right? Now the target is 215. So I have to adjust the target based on where the connector's traded. So I don't know where this will end. I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to wait for this bigger move, and I'll come back to this. But at some point, the higher the connector, the more upside. Now, could this be a major low, and it continues in pumping? Of course, it can. It can. So there's really no trade set up, but I personally think it will fail a connector. I don't like to chase this connector wave. And but there is no guarantee that Y will happen either. So a lot of traders, could, try to trade this long against 341. I wouldn't do that because of the gap down potential that it could have. So I would just be waiting to see what happens here. Intel, let's see how that one's doing. Waiting for this fifth wave. If rates are going lower right now on counter trend, this should be. So I would say you really need to stay above 23. I'd be looking for wave 5 still. It looks like to me this 4 wave is done. Yeah, it's done. As long as you're above 23, it's valid for this 5th wave. GSOL, is back in the buy area again. Now we broke this low here, but we took out divergence, so it truncated. So again, GSOL is about to make a big move higher potentially, as long as we stay above 131. Ultimately looking for targets as high as $800, $900 or higher. Which could be many, many months into the future. But it needs to stay supported here. It needs to be supported, accumulated, whatever you want to call it right here. All right. GSOL. And God knows what the premium is, by the way. Who knows? I have to calculate that. Zcash the coin. Okay. Zcash the coin. I have to go see if I have that. It's that chart. This chart's been a long time since I've updated it. Oh, there we go. All right, so looks like we're trying to come off this low in a lead-in diagonal. It could be more bullish than that even. You know, it could be something. It could be about to see a 3 of 3 moment. Yeah, it could be. So hard to label this shorter cycle, but it is in the buy area, and we've had this buy area for actually I could say years. It's being accumulated for years, guys. It's way under the radar. No one is buying Zcoin. I guarantee you that. No one is fucking buying Zcoin right now, guys. No one's buying Zcoin. No one. How's a G? How's GZ? How's my Zcash coming out of the low? I think I gave you guys this trade setup down here, right? So guys, I'm just saying, like, there's crypto's bullish. Obviously, crypto's bullish, right? Bitcoin isn't at $100,000 because people don't want it. I mean, guys, it's $100,000. Like, no one in their mind ever thought that that could happen. No one in their mind. And I do believe in the future it'll be even higher than that, a lot higher. And people will still look back and go, "How the hell did this ever happen?" These things can happen. You know, these things happen. And now people are like, you know, they're bullish, and it's just the mathematics behind it support it, and it's good until, like I said, I think the way Bitcoin ends is it gets hacked and the integrity of the blockchain is gone, and one day you wake up, like I always say, some nerd in their basement hacked it with quantum computers, AI, whatever, you know, help, and then the whole thing unravels, and and that's the end. I guess it came over. Now, of course, we don't want that to happen, but that's probably how it ends. That's probably how it. But it could probably be 50 years from now. But hey, until then, it's might as well enjoy this, enjoy this money, enjoy the money. But but yeah, I mean, right now, like I said, there's I would say Zcash is under the radar, way under the radar. Zcash is under the radar. It's turning out. I think go back on my live stream. I gave you guys this. I think it was trading $3 when I mentioned it, and then it looks like it got up to 10. I think was I mean so again just oh, here we go. Yeah, no, it was $3 here. So yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out in this 1-2. All right. Litecoin, the coin, and then Bitcoin Cash. So Litecoin, again, we're just letting the chart play out. I believe Litecoin has a 1 in, and we're pulling back in 2, looking for a pullback to $79, which makes sense if LTCN wants to go down. So it would drop us to like 82, 80, somewhere around there. So maybe not as low as I said. So maybe it only goes down to like 81, 82, something like that. So there's the buy area for Litecoin on the low there. Bitcoin Cash. I wanted to see a double correction to 528. It may actually be done this wave 4 and get. I think we need one more high for 1 before a bigger pullback. But again, when I look at BCHG, I wouldn't be surprised to change the label on this and have it be a 1-2, 1-2, and it just goes vertical. I wouldn't be playing games with Bitcoin Cash right now, guys. I would not be trying to be cute with it. Like, if you could drop to here, great opportunity, but it may be finished already. We just don't know, so I'm keeping an eye on it. Keeping an eye on it for now, and then we can wait and see what happens in this area here. 405 would be a really good opportunity, I think, to trade that. So we'll have to wait and see for right now. I'm still thinking it's got a deeper, another leg lower coming, like Litecoin does. Bitcoin should be making this fifth wave, right? And then it should be pulling back. So that should you would think that should hit a lot of cryptos, right? So maybe BCAG we're a little too bullish here. Maybe it does break this low. So I would just keep an open mind that this low could break, but it needs to stay above this low ultimately. So it's tough to time it. It really is tough to time this, but I think the bigger picture still remains intact. It's just what do you want? Where do you want to go with it? You know, it's kind of like where do you want to go with it? And I think it's still higher in the future. It's just as long as you're above this low 440 450 here, it's okay. But maybe it will take another drop lower. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So I wish the shorter cycles were more clear on crypto. There just really aren't at this point. That's why I don't recommend. I just recommend holding your positions right now. I would just hold. I would just hold. I wouldn't be trying to get cute in and out, and I'm going to day trade it, and I'm going to do. I would not be trying to do that shit in a wave 3. This could be a massive wave 3 grand super cycle. You do not do that. Is not what you do for trading wave 3s, guys. Wave 3s is hold. If this is a wave 3 grand super cycle, right? If this is a 1 2 1 2 1 2, you don't get cute. You got to just hold. You got to hold through the wave 3s. Now, when the wave 3 ends, you can trade 4s and 5s, but I don't think this is a 5. I really don't think it's a wave 5. I think it's a wave 1. Yeah, there's a pullback coming, sure. But I don't want to be cute with the crypto. I really don't want to do that because back here, people did that and they didn't get this move. They were, oh, I'm going to get in and out, and they just they couldn't figure it out. And they missed a lot of this move. That's a wave 3. That's what crypto wave 3s do in Bitcoin. This is what wave 3s do in Bitcoin. Now wave 5s and altcoins do this, but wave 3s and Bitcoin do this. So we have potentially on the grand super cycle wave 3 in crypto coming. If it's the case, it's probably going to go a lot higher than people have any idea in their minds right now, like it did back here. No one thought in their mind, when we broke out of 1,000, that it would trade in 12 months at 19,000. No one did. And if they did, they thought you were a crazy lunatic, like foolish person for thinking that. What if we do something similar, do 10 bagger from here? What if we hit $1 million? What are you guys going to do if you got rid of your Bitcoin here at 98,000 and we hit $1 million? You look like an idiot. You'll look like a fool, and you'll probably end up buying it back from the people up there. So am I just saying this is not an area that you want to try to get cute? You really just need to hold your crypto positions and go trade something else. That's all I'm saying. That's my biggest advice that I can give on crypto right now based on my experience as a trader and doing this for many years. I'm doing this. You have to just kind of hold right now. this wave 3, or you're going to lose your position. You're going to lose it, and the market will leave you behind. Anyway, that's my talk on crypto, guys. All right, SOS. Let's go into SOS. SOS making a move off this low. You know, it's one of these go to zeros, which I never like to trade, but the way to trade it is just look for the current trend and then trade that trend you're in until the market reverses off of it. So we obviously have reversed off this low. Let's see what we're doing on the shorter cycle here. So the only way to trade this right now is to trade bullish off of 660. So we'll trade that 660, and you see I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this tells me we should get another swing higher. Okay, so we've put in wave 1 here, and now we're in some kind of wave 2. So now the question is wave 2 done or not? So I bet the best trade setup is, let's say wave 2 isn't finished, and you get a pullback to fill this gap at 368. So I'd be looking to buy it again in this area, even if it breaks this low, as it could make a flat and come out. So somewhere in this area, I'll be looking to buy it for another leg higher, at least, is what I'm thinking. And I always look for the flat, because it could be a flat off this impulse too. So I always like to check for that situation. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. A, B, C. So I'm trying to see if there's a potential flat pattern. Maybe A, B, C here. But that's 5 there. So I don't think we have a flat pattern. So I would say it's still this for right now. All right, good luck on that. Could the upcoming dip in Bitcoin fill the gap? I think the wave 2 coming could go down that far. Yeah, I think that's possible. I think this wave 2 pullback that should happen. When this wave 1 peaks, this wave 2, I wouldn't be surprised to see it pull back to here, somewhere here. Now 78, that's pretty low. It could do that. I mean, there's nothing to say it can't do that. So if you have gaps there, I mean, I would say that you want to see it stay above this peak at 73.7. I think that's what you need to see. This wave 2 can come all the way back down to this to retest this breakout. If we fall back and close below it, then I believe the wave 5 scenario is in. Then my scenario is negated essentially, and now you're looking at the wave 5 scenario, and then that could pull Bitcoin down and really end this whole cycle from this low on October or November 22, pulling us down eventually back down to 47, 46,000. So I think that would be the first warning sign that has happened, or the momentum indicator breaks sharply, essentially a crash where you go like straight down to here, like boom, one big candle. But for right now, I just kind of hang out in this area. Indo, just gave Indo updates, so skip over that. And then CNH. Oh, China, okay. Offshore future. What the hell is this? CNH. I've never heard of it. Let me make sure I got the right symbol. CNH Industrial. Okay, there it is. Yeah, I was like, what the hell is CN? Okay, that's this one. We can do this one. So it was looking for more downside here, but let's just kind of, again, let me see the bigger picture. So we have a connector wave. We have a 3-wave move, and now we need a 3-wave move. So we need 5 off this low. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so now you've turned lower to make the next leg lower. But it also could still bounce around and see and make like a bigger 1, 2, and just keep going to connect. That's what connector waves do. So there is an area where that if it's going to bounce where we would expect it to. Let's see here. So we see how we made that new connector. So that's negated our area here, but now you have 3 down with a ratio divergence here. So now you have a short 3-wave move. So it was a very truncated Y wave. Typically when you see that, this connector will fail again at some point. So I would be still looking for more downside like that. So it's still not really in an area I want to trade it. There's really not much more I can add on it other than a break above 1796 would confirm it's a 1-2. It will get a lot more upside in this C leg as it squeezes. If it stays like this, you'd be looking for Y, and then you could try to speculative long here to see if it bounces and you get a bigger C wave extension, or you just or you stop out by the break of $1, which would be that would be a pretty dramatic decline. So I think we just have to wait for this connector to end, and then there could be a new area to buy it once that happens. But I believe now that you have ended the cycle, it should run higher above 933. So I believe it's still higher until the market proves otherwise. But like I said, this may not happen. This could be the low, and we could just go into a 3, 4, 5, which we'll end see later. So I would not be I would be looking for more upside right now. It seems incomplete. It seems incomplete. All right, let's keep going here. ANF. You know, ANF was one that I warned not to chase that shit. And ANF, I still don't want it. I want it below $100. And this A, B, C, D, E, I mean, this is a classic triangle connector. As long as you're below 161, it's in danger of a big move lower right here. But I'd like to buy that. ANF is a very clear chart at this point to me. Very clear chart. Good luck on that. ALB. Hit the buy area and it's turning. So ALB is good. You just have to stick with it. It's coming off the low. It's turning into a stealth bull market. Nobody's paying attention to it, but people on my channel, we have 5 waves up off the low. So be looking for another pullback soon at any moment, and that could pull back to $90, and that may be your last opportunity to buy it before it runs. But it doesn't have to do that. It could always be a 1-2, 1-2, and it just keeps going. I wouldn't want to. I think this was the a major low right here, which we had on our channel. CVAC, CureVac. I did hold that low, so it's kind of do or die right here. So it does look like this cycle's coming to an end. I would just say that I have to put the low there, or it's going to negate the chart, and then it will create a catastrophe for this company. So it's kind of a back into the low situation. I would say it's higher off of that low, and you can see it's already turning up and broke the cycle. So this is a major low right here, and it's in a 1-2. So it's in a wave 3 setup. Good luck with that. Qubits. QBTS. All right, so we had the buy right around where we needed it to. We got the wave 3 pump like we expected. But like all good things, it's probably coming close to an end. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's probably has more upside still. It's got more upside, right, in the swings. As long as it's above 250, we should be grinding higher in wave 5. QUBT, quantum computing. Let's take a look what happened here. So we're looking for an extension in 5, and looks like we were just off by a swing or two. So we did get this wave 5. The wave 5 ended, so we're just off by a swing or two, which is always can happen. So obviously this 5 is over, right? It's over. Let's look at the bigger picture. That's too big of a pump. So that came down in 3 waves. So you have 3. A, B. So it's still some kind of connector in here. It's got to be some kind of connector. Yes, I'd be looking for more upside as this connector continues higher, and then it will have it should fail. So I would be looking to buy dips in this that present itself in 3 waves. This is a massive extended wave 5. So I'll give a buy setup. $438, $360. And I would like to continue to buy that there. It's in a massive extended 5th wave, which is very dangerous to chase it, because typically you'll lose that. So it could even come to the lower areas, but I don't want to chase it, but I do expect it to continue higher at some point when this is hit. I'll be surprised if B is done here. It's usually not deep enough for an extended 5th like this. Normally extended 5ths get the late traders get annihilated typically. So I would just kind of wait in the background and see if something like that could happen. DXYZ. So we're at the do or die moment here, right? It's got to stay below 50 for this C leg to play out. Yeah, I would say that the market right now is telling you that it only moved down in 3, it's up in 3, so it hasn't it's kind of in a coin flip. I still like it lower, like I have it, but if it pushes up and takes out 50, then of course the charts negate it and the connector will continue higher. And this will become like a 1 2 1 2 1 2. So you really need a tight stop loss here if you're going to try to short it. All right, next is GRRMF. It's in the buy area today that we have. Not a lot of data, as you can see, very illiquid, but based on what we have, today's the day you want to pull the trigger on it if you're so inclined to do that. It does have a higher high setup, so there is a chance that it is a good buy here, despite it being so illiquid right now. All right, UVIX. So the last I saw the UVIX is it's being bled down, and I talked about that on the bigger picture, the bigger time frame. It's got a setup that could bring it lower, which could support the markets for a little bit more. So bigger picture, the UVIX if we can, so you guys can see it. We broke this low right here with this low. As you can see, that low here, and as we broke it, this C leg has potential to extend all the way down to $1.18. So that's why I would be careful trying to buy it long without having stop losses. So we could still be in C, and this could be a 1-2, 1-2. So we could see more downside. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but the break of the low today definitely negated this chart. So what I'm thinking, what we could be in is still in a bigger connector in B. So I would be looking for something like this for right now. And again, you'll have to decide. I don't really like to trade the UVIX with this break right here, but it is possible you'll get something like this now. But you want to be careful with it. But I think this is now what you'll get is in play. Something like this. And when can be end? You want to see divergence erased. Want to see this, take this peak out. Once it does that on the daily time frame, then I believe it's in. And it seems like it naturally would like to go down to 271 here. So I think that's the kind of something like that is what I'm thinking. All right, good luck. Let's go to the MSOS. Looks like we're almost done this fifth wave. And again, I could be off by a swing, so just keep that in mind. Don't get, you may not get perfect timing, but it's very close to finishing its major cycle. MSOX. So I always like to look for a Fibonacci level here. Is in the buy area from a Fibonacci level right here, right here. So this could bounce. It could have a violent bounce at any moment, just from Fibonacci standpoint, not from an Elliott wave standpoint. Again, you have A down, you have a B up here, or I would probably do it. Do a little different. So WXY 3 3. One more low. One more low, and I'm moving a little faster, but one more low. I think it needs one more low, and then it should come out of whatever this is. I don't know what this represents, by the way. I don't know what's like. I don't understand this. If it syncs up with the rest of my forecast or not, but I'm just showing you the chart that I'm just trading the chart, right? That's all we're doing here. And you'll have to decide how you want to play that. But I think that's what we're looking at, something like this. And then UVIX already gave the update. Okay, yeah, for Ford. Nvidia and Ford. Okay, yeah. So Ford is one that I never liked. I think quote the CEO, he bet the farm on EVs. I think he said that a year or so ago. And you should never bet the farm on anything. Any CEO that says he bet the farm on anything should be fired immediately for not proper risk management. So let's take a look. So Ford, I got in this massive connector, or coming off the low here. And we're in this 4-wave, and that's what because there's no other alternative. If I show you the bearish alternative, if this is 3, if this is an A, B, C, then Ford is going out of business, guys. And he did bet the farm, and he's going to lose. The Ford's gone. It's going to need a government bailout. It's going to break 113. Now, the first sign that would happen is a break below $4. I still think this is the pattern, something like this. Because I'm doing a concept called backing into the low. I'm backing into the low because the alternative doesn't seem possible, but maybe it is possible. I mean, so I'm showing you this as Ford, but the more I look at it, we broke that low here. I would be careful because it may be the unthinkable. Ford could be because I'm just showing you a bullish interpretation, but this case is also this is just as valid. This is just as valid here. Government bailout. I mean, this is just this is as valid. So which one is it? I don't know. Maybe with all the tariff stuff going on now, and they're all in Mexico. Maybe this will be the nail in their coffin. I don't know. So I think you got to be really careful in Ford, uh, especially below 1493. So yeah, but this looks very this is this is a very poor chart. Unless you want to speculate for a trade back up to new highs here, as long as you're above, I would say above 385. But I wouldn't. I don't. Like I said, it's 50-50. Ford easily can make this big move lower in wave three, and if we know the indices are going to get toast soon, I bet I'm leaning towards this, and perhaps the automakers are going to get really hurt with the tariffs coming up. And then lower oil prices. Again, if they bet the farm on EVs, Nissan, I read something on Nissan that it may go out of business in the next 6 to 12 months because again, their EV bet went south, right? They're not even making Ultimas and Maximas, right? Because they went all EV on the like again, those are CEOs that got FOMO'd in at the moment, and they may have destroyed their companies by FOMO, just like a trader does by FOMOing in at the top, right? And then betting their whole strategy on a trend that has cycles, right? The crazy thing is EVs will come back. When oil's of $200, people will be begging for EVs. There won't be enough EVs to go around. NIO will be all over the United States by then. I mean, they'll have more EVs. You'll be surprised how innovative people will be to get power. I mean, that's what's going to happen. But right now, no one wants EVs. In oil, if oil goes down as Trump, turns on the spigots and the economy slows down a little bit with the tariffs and everything, government spending goes down. Yeah, oil's going to go down, and no one's going to buy EVs. No one's going to want that shit, right? But then something's going to happen that's going to break the commodities. War? Could it be war? Could it be hyperinflation? Could it be God knows what? But something, and then all of a sudden everyone's going to want EVs. And then these bets could play off, and maybe that's what this other chart is showing with Ford, the other alternative where we have bottomed, and we do something like this, and then we come back down, and then we come out because they're prepared for that, and their bet paid off. So just something to think about. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out with Ford. Nvidia. Again, we called the peak in Nvidia, and we actually called 150 exactly the way it played out. It played out exactly like we've traded. Nvidia's been trading. We've traded that very well on our channel. We've called those swings very well through the whole cycle on Nvidia. But I mean, okay, well, big picture, guys. I mean, damn. At some point, it's coming to an end, right? But for right now, it is fun to be part of this. So now you're pulling back, right? As long as you're below 152, you have to say the 3 is in. You broke the trend line. You're back testing it. This could be a good short right here against the trend line, but I don't trade like that. Some people do. Looks like 5 waves down to me. So I would just kind of, I'll be looking for more downside, of course. This wave 4 could take many months, even a year or two to play out as this consolidation occurs. But we still are looking for more upside. And of course, it could also become a 1-2 and get even more crazy. So I think Nvidia still will make new highs in the future. But I think we're in this wave 4 top. Let's look at the higher degree cycles. Massive divergences on the here. This weekly cycle needs to reset. The monthly cycle also has bearish divergence. But as you can see, the peak in the monthly is way down here. We want the peak in the monthly to be up here. It hasn't. So that's where I warn you that this wave 5 could become another wave 3 of 3 in the future. So I would be looking to want to buy this 4 in the future, because I could easily see it getting even more insane in the future after this 4 is finished. Somewhere around this area, $85, $75, somewhere around that area is what I'm thinking. But I believe as long as you're below 150, you could be in a bear market in Nvidia going forward for a little bit. And again, 4 waves can chop around. 4 waves can become triangles like that, right? They could do that. They could do all sorts of crazy things. They're designed to just take all the traders' profits and money from them that they made on the uptrend, because it just goes sideways for a long time. Calls and ports don't work because you can't time it. People hold them too long. And that's what happens in the 4 waves. That's what I think we could be in. All right, I think I got through everyone's questions. I'll just scan through comments, and I got to get off here. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Higher market is obviously people are bullish after the Turkey Day. When the buy want to spend their capital to buy stocks at the worst possible moment, but that's what typically happens. Looks like that 4 wave is finished. No, doesn't seem like we're going to get that pullback, which is fine. That's going to end the cycle sooner in 5. And again, we could keep extending in 5 here. So we'll just kind of see how this goes. The market wants to continue higher. The VIX does provide a floor. I don't think the VIX is going to go to 0, right? So at some point, the VIX will provide the floor and where we eventually how low the market can go. Here, again, the VIX breaking this low is pretty significant. Here, that brings us down to more downside, right? In a 1, 2, 1, 2. So more downside a little bit. But like I mentioned earlier, we could still be in a bigger connector in B. So it's why it's real tough to trade the VIX right now. It's in a very difficult area to trade because it could be a bigger B with a C to come later, something like that. Then X. So a lot of possibilities. I'll have to take another look at the VIX, but the break of these lows is significant today because it shows traders are just throwing all caution to the wind. Now, we could have a bigger time frame like a 1, 2, or an AB, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's another valid chart. I'll have to look at that later. Potentially, you have that as a AB and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that could end the cycle in an ABC if we can erase divergence on this whatever's happening here today. But even on the shorter cycle here, you only have a 1, 2, and you just broke. So, the VIX is very erratic right now. But massive bullish divergence. So, it is due a pretty significant bounce, but I don't know if it's the bounce, the end. So, I think right now, we'll have to look at the VIX. It seems to be in like a much bigger connector area as it sideways chops before you get another one of these moments again. Is what I'm thinking. But we'll keep an eye on it. But I do think the VIX is due a big spike soon with the yen strength. But will you get a super crash? I don't think so. I think you'll get a big sell-off. Yeah. Just looking at this here. So I'll look at this again, and then I'll give people my thoughts on the VIX. But I don't think the VIX is a good trade anymore. I wouldn't trade it. It didn't break it. Tesla didn't break it. Well, so the data I have on TradingView says it broke. So that's significant. So I go by TradingView. I mean, maybe the data is wrong in TradingView, but if Tesla broke the high that I see, I go with that. But if you believe and you have the data, I don't. If it didn't break, then it could be a catastrophe. But either way, a big pullback will happen. Yeah, VIX. Wow, it's 13. I know traders are so complacent, man. I mean, damn. Puts have never been cheaper. Premium. I would be loading up just because it's on sale. Like think of it as puts are on sale right now. Short position, I mean, this is low. This VIX is way low with the bullish divergences. I mean, here and here. I mean, to me, it's like almost like free money on. Yeah, I mean, bigger picture, the VIX could. I don't know how it's a setup that I see that could spike it like to like the 70s or something, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a spike back up to 24, 25 very quickly. That'd be like 100% move in one day. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. Again, let's just see if we could kind of figure this out here. Again, yeah, look from the RSI. That's a lot of capitulation, but see a lot of bearish divergence and bullish divergence. That you broke that low. So yeah, I would be looking for something like W, and then a counter trend rally. Well, should emerge from this soon. I think this is what we had at the UVIX. Something like that. And then yeah, and then this is 3, 3, something like that. That's what I think we'll get. But I bet C happens like dramatically in a dramatic fashion, almost like you had that whenever this C is in. So I think that's so the market's due for some event, some volatility event that looks something like this. But I believe, given the way this looks now, we'll have another consolidation phase whenever this C is over, whenever that's over. Yeah, you have to go with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like an A, B. Yeah, it's real dangerous. Yeah, it's real confusing. The VIX is got a really confusing chart. Actually, this could even be, I could put the A there and do something like this. Do something like that. So but either way, I mean, I think it's a like just it's probably a buy here. I mean, it's probably a buy in this area. It's way beat down here. See if any more super chats came in at the last second here. Okay, yeah, got a couple more from Donald's, and then I'll get out of here. LMT, Lockheed Martin. Let's see how that's doing. It's been a while since we've updated this chart. So we're looking for a bigger wave 5. So we got to clean this up. So this was kind of a messy chart here. Yeah, maybe one more high. Could I be off by a swing? Possibly, but I believe you're almost done this whole thing. It's almost over. Oh wow, look, so you see how you took out divergence here? So that negated the 3 and 4 right here. So see how how the market can extend. This is a lesson in extensions, right? So we've extended the wave 3, and now we'll finish up this cycle soon, and then we'll pull back either in a higher degree wave 3 like this, or another 1, 2. So this should just continue to push higher. But I don't like all those overlapping waves within wave 3. So I actually, if it does end, I'd be looking for a 1, 2, another 1, 2. So it looks like the defense sector is going to be another bullish sector in the future. So I'm looking at healthcare, looking at defense as two areas that you may want to hedge your short positions with in the future, looking at these charts just today. All right, CVX, that's been a battle, man. These producers, right? Let's take a look. So we had, again, our story on CVX has been a lot of distribution happening. I'm not sure what happened with my charts, but you had this 1-2 here with a short that played out, and then we had another short here, played out, played out. Now this one failed. Now this was our first failure trying to short it right here, but what probably happened is it probably made a full impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pulled up into. So it's doing something like this more than likely. And then the question is, could 2 be done if that's 5? And I would say I don't think so. I would still trade it this way. So just cleaning it up a little bit. So again, I'd be looking for a 1, a 2. Maybe you can get to 169 and then the turn lower. So I'm still looking for that turn lower to occur. And what we did is, here was our connector. And it turned right before, so right at 165, 169 right here. Right where oil is about to turn. I think it's just trying to sync up with the commodity itself. And if oil wants to give up give it up and drop, once this is just syncing up with the commodity, and then it should drop with the commodity, is what I'm thinking at this point. But good luck with that, trading that. It's a difficult trade. I don't like to buy it though. With oil, my oil forecast, I don't want to count. Why would the producers go up if the commodity is going to go down? All right. I'm just like looking through the last few comments. Yeah, a lot of traders, they just think the market goes up forever. And depends on your time frame, right? What's your time frame? If your time frame is, generational, then yeah, it typically does, right? Unless you believe the United States is coming to an end, capitalism is ending as you know it. The market, it got through the Great Depression, right? It got through World Wars II. So, even there was even a stock market back during the Civil War, right? I mean, it got, the market always persevered, but if you were alive during those events, you didn't make out. So here we are. So there's the market right now, and we'll see what happens. If we do get, I still think we're in this fifth wave here now that we broke this high. Now that should send up alarm bells. Looking at where the VIX is, looking at like where we are, where the yen is, where bonds need to counter trend lower in rates. I think this is coming. This will happen fast, but I do think it's capped with this B now. It's capped. So again, that supports this scenario, right? The scenario I keep talking about, where it's a big pullback in wave 5. We pull back, but it's supported for more upside. That's what now the VIX is actually showing that supports that alignment. Big pullback, but that's a buyable dip for within the grand super cycle, and the party has still not come to an end. Nvidia still needs another all-time high. Tesla probably will break all-time highs soon, given its count. So I do believe the grand super cycle, the party will continue during Trump's presidency, but not before something very scary and very, nerve-wracking is about to happen within the market that will be probably worse than the August pullback, worse. But on that kind of scale, and then we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Good luck, and talk